इच्छन्ति देवाः सुन्वन्तं न स्वप्नाय स्पृहयन्ति.
Some weeks ago, I read an article, an announcement that Harvard and some leaders of Tamil community are creating a multi-billion-dollar chair at Harvard for Harvard to study Tamil culture, Tamil literature, politics, sociology, and so on. And I have seen similar chairs turned into a situation where the US university or the Western university controlling it sees it as a political weapon for separatism. There's a long history at Berkeley and for Tamil doing this kind of thing. Turn it over to ideologue and also at Yale. And there's similar histories for other languages. Not only Indian languages but other languages. So my concern was whether this is a good thing or not good thing. And I asked the organizers of this conference, since it is about Tamil Nadu, it's about identity, and is Tamil identity part of Indian identity, separate identity, that's the whole purpose of the conference, that maybe we should also have a panel on this particular Harvard Tamil chair. And first wave of panelists were not acceptable to me because they're all going to basically mirror what I was going to say. I said that's not fun. I need people who take an opposing point of view so we can have a healthy discussion as friends. We can also learn from each other. So I'm delighted to say that I am surrounded by two persons who are going to disagree with me or to some extent at least. And I'm very happy, especially the gentleman on my left. We had lunch together, we agreed that we will have a good disagreement and we'll be friends and we'll be civilized. So with that, I would request, how about if you first introduce yourself?
Vanakkam, good afternoon. My name is Padmini Ravichandran. I am the editor for a Tamil current affairs magazine called Swadeshi. In my opinion, since 1990, I've been following these universities and been fighting academia as a battleground. It was drawn a couple of centuries back, I think. So today Harvard is one more new crop. So definitely I'm suspicious of this. I'm suspicious of this Harvard's initiative. Not a big alarm because we are a huge crowd here. So, but still I'm extremely skeptical and I'm very sure of its motive. We will elaborate on that later. Thank you.
So at least I have one ally right away. Good. How about you? Now you better oppose.
I am only one, basically a publisher. I write columns in Times of India. In fact, I wrote about setting up a chair in Harvard University, and subsequently I would say that a little bit of my initiative, the Minister for Tamil Studies, Pandirajan, and the government subsequently came forward to give 9.75 crores to this chair. I want to correct that this is not initiative of Harvard chair to set up Harvard University to set up a chair for Tamil chair. It was the initiative of two Tamilians there who have been, wanted to have this for a long time. It was their initiative that the Tamil chair is very, very important at the Harvard University. So this initiative has become a global movement, and not only the Tamils but also the others in the US and other parts of the world are contributing to that. So let me start with this the first round.
So who are the two who initiated it? You said two Tamilians at Harvard.
So Tamils live doctors in the United States of America. One Dr. Sambandam and another Dr. Jayashankar. Both of them have been instrumental. Janigram. Both of them initiated this and approached Harvard University and requesting them to set up a chair there. Finally, Oxford University accepted it. Now they are doing that. If you can go into the Harvard University tamilchair.org, we will get the complete detail. There is no foreign except Tamils from Tamil Nadu who migrated there.
So I've looked at, I set up a Harvard chair, visiting professor twice, and decided not to continue. It was on Indology. We were having Indology roundtable conferences as a result of that. And they were bringing people from all the places, linguists and historians and archaeologists and whatnot. And it was very clear they had a certain ideological slant. They had an ideological slant. We initiated it, but we decided to fold up after a few years. I have also set up a chair in University of California in Santa Barbara, one in Texas, did some work in Texas, one at Columbia University, and some other places. And then I decided, just to give you my experience, I've negotiated with several of these organizations, and then I decided that the real work on our culture has to first be done here. And we can use them to amplify, distribute, spread what we give them, not turn over the keys that they know better and they will control the knowledge production.
That is true probably in the case of Sanskrit and Hindi, not with Tamil, because Tamil, even the neighboring states, not aware of the rich culture this language has for more than 2000 years old. Even the Tirukkural, the text which has been translated in most of the languages in the world, doesn't speak for any particular religion. But we at Tamil Nadu or with Tamils, I'm not confining myself to Tamils, I'm not putting myself into the domain, but I feel that this rich culture has to go to the rest of the world. The Purananuru, Agananuru, the Sangha Ilakyams, the literatures, 2000 years back, the very famous Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir, where all places, all are my brothers and sisters. I don't think no other literature, no other language would have spoken at that time. Like that, so many are there without putting everyone into any boundary of religion or national geography. They talked about humanism. That is what important at the point of time. So setting up a chair at the Harvard is undoubtedly one of the top-notch universities in the world. That would open up gates for very many people to look at this language. See, only after Tamil has been classified as a classical language, now people started looking at it. As a regular Frankfurt Book Fair goer for the last 12 years, to the Frankfurt Book Fair is considered to be the largest book fair in the world, where a lot of transactions, translations rights, all happen. But when I go there as an English publisher, but my curiosity to see whether any Indian language books, particularly my Tamil is there, I've seen nothing. But whereas newly emerging or very small section of people who have spoken like Indonesian and other places, their books have been translated in very many languages. For us to get that identity, we need recognition from such big universities. There need not be any fear that by setting up a chair that they would bring lot of harm to this country. In fact, the more harm comes from this country only within, I would say.
Okay, so let me give you some experience. First, I've set up these chairs. Secondly, I studied the model of Japan Foundation, Korea Foundation, China Institute. Now, the Japan Foundation created a curriculum in Japan on how to teach Japan in the United States. And they funded 5 universities in US with their money to do teacher training through these chairs and journalist training about Japan. So they also had the same goal, but they first created the curriculum, the content themselves. Similarly, Korea Foundation has set up chairs after creating, I think it's a shelf of books. There's a shelf of books on Korean history, philosophy, this, that, economics, whatever. On all the subjects, Korea Foundation created books in Korea, in their language and in English. And then they started franchising it to American universities to teach. So there are 2 aspects. One is, where is the R&D and product development done? Second is, where is it being distributed? Where are you making the Tamil story? And then who is distributing it for you? Harvard is a good place for distributing it. Is Harvard, in your opinion, also the best place to make the story? Or do you think making the story you have to do here in Tamil Nadu?
I may not be competent to answer that because neither I am an academician nor connected with that. But I got an experience at looking at Cologne University in Germany. In fact, I was there a few months back, and there is a lady there, Professor Ulrich Nicholas. Our fascination for Indian languages, particularly Tamil, though it was originally an Indological department, subsequently it became more of a Tamil department because she herself presented papers also in a couple of conferences, and she said that Tamils, it took long time for them to understand that Tamil is a different language compared to the other Indian languages. This is something news actually. Many here also still believe that Tamil is nothing but a offshoot of or offspring of Sanskrit. It's not that. Tamil is an independent language. Its vocabulary is enormous. There are theories that Tamil is much older than. I don't want to get into that kind of conversation, but Tamil can exist on its own. So there I have seen that they not only teach Tamil, but also every year they bring some 15 to 20 students here to Tamil Nadu. They do field studies staying in Pondicherry and go to all places across Tamil Nadu, like big temple in Tanjavur and Madurai, Rameswaram, all temples, because the temples are the only one now apart from the literature talk about this culture.
So the knowledge development is being done by them.
Yes, they
come here to do anthropology and research, like the British have been doing.
No, in addition to that, they also take professors from here. There is a cross-pollination of ideas. See, now the Harvard talk has come. Now most of the universities, see, the problem with the Indian universities, they have not have that global outlook. They had their own problems, from the selection of vice chancellors to so many functioning of that, they have their own issues. Now, thanks to this initiative, now the universities in Tamil Nadu has woken up, now started looking at universities in Malaysia, Singapore, all these places. This has really opened a Pandora box that, people have started realizing that we need to go globally, and it's not that taking Tamil culture alone there, bring those culture also here. There should be cross-pollination of ideas.
Yeah, so I'm just contrasting with Japan, Korea and China. So let me tell you about China. China has control over Mandarin studies and China studies. Unlike India, where the Indology is not controlled by our HRD or anything, it's controlled by the West. But in China, all the prestigious chairs of China studies or Chinese language are controlled by Chinese government and Chinese industrialists in China. So their idea of their history, so we are not here debating and disagreeing about how great the language is. We don't have to get into that because I already agree with that. We are looking at who should control the discourse, who should make the product, which then Harvard will distribute, or Harvard, at least the basic framework. And what you are telling me is that you don't know in the case of Harvard who will make the product. I would say, before I would commit to anybody representing my image, my brand.
I don't say, miss, my knowledge is limited. Maybe the concerned people there would be, the people who are,
yeah. But I would, before supporting a product, before supporting such a thing, I would raise some issues. I would say, what is the control Harvard has, and what is the control we have?
They are setting up a chair there. Chair is nothing but a professorship, one single professor, right? Now, then they would frame a syllabus and other curriculum. Definitely, they would, since Tamil Nadu government is also contributing substantially, they would definitely collaborate with Tamil universities here, not any individuals. Probably they will work with Tamil university here, which is very strong and popular. Probably they frame the syllabus. The professor who is going to be appointed can come to Chennai.
A similar thing actually happened. We spoke to these two doctors who were Dr. Samadam, and we did an article on Swadeshi in the month of May. So with this we went to the Tamil Nadu government. We have protested, saying that the person appointed as the head for this is David Goodman, and he is a part of Pollock, who said Sanskrit only because Hitler studied Sanskrit, he became such a maniac. So that is the thing, and that's what Ford, Mr. Infosys Narayanamurthy is appointed as classical. Like it's it's like a one-on-one link. But coming back to Harvard, we have requested these two doctors to create another trust, so that the money does not go to the Harvard trust, because they got some legal implications. So they're going to have one more trust. So all the money that being collected now will go to this separate trust. It will be released only into the Harvard trust after they agree for our input, like Rajiv ji said, that our input should be there. Our people should be there. A person of a Tamil origin who knows very well, who knows native Tamil, who understands the nuances, they are the ones who are supposed to do this story, and the R&D should come from us and not from them. As you rightly said, the distribution area could be Harvard, Yale or Berkeley, but they haven't. We all know what they did and what their motive is. So when we know, of course, one thing, Harvard is a very tiny speck in 120 crore people. We have the huge infrastructure in our minds, but we haven't put it into action. But with people more like people with Infinity Foundation, I'm sure we're already on a very well-oiled road. But Harvard must be taken at this point of time. We must insist that this inside trust remains there, and we should not let this fund go to the main Harvard, because they would like to.
That's a good point. Actually, what you're saying is the right way. Pakistan, see, you must do, before you start an airline or a hotel or a whatever business, you study those who are in that business. Have you studied chairs? Have you studied ethnic chairs, foreign language chairs, their history, what went wrong, when there were lawsuits, who controls? You have to study the field before you invest your money. As Bill Gates said, invest your time before you invest your money. Yeah, it's hard-earned money. So you guys haven't studied how chairs work. So let me tell you a little bit. Harvard, Pakistan initiated 2 Qaid-e-Azam chairs. Qaid-e-Azam is Jinnah. So that in his name, one at Columbia and one at Berkeley. Both of them complained that you can't tell us who to hire. We have an academic procedure. We put out a call for positions. Everybody applies. We appoint a selection panel. These are academic people. You are business people. You are money people. You don't know how the academy works. And Harvard will always tell you that you have no say in who will be selected. Okay. So Pakistan government was very smart. Pakistan government said, we are putting money into a foundation and we'll give you 3 years worth of salary, and then we'll evaluate, and if we like the results, we'll give you the next 3 years of salary, and this is how we'll continue. The moment we feel that this chair has gone off track from our point of view, then we will just stop. This is what they did, and they got away with it. So what has happened is, they take a retired person from the Ministry of External Affairs, or an ISI person, who's very strong Pakistani, very strong, people who have been in the service. They take these, and now the university is embarrassed to accept money where the donor appoints the professor, because it's not considered academically sound to be bought. It means you've sold out. So to compromise, so that the university would be able to claim that they have made the selection, Pakistan said, we will give you a short list of 3 and then you pick one. So you can say you selected. Very smart. So every 3 years, Pakistan gives them a name of 3 people and the university picks one. Now these controls need to be put in place in the contract. I also know places like UCLA Indian History Chair, Sardesai was appointed. The donor was very happy that he got to appoint the person of his choice. But when he retired,
kindly enlighten me, sir. Kindly enlighten. Do you think that if government here or the people here, if they make selections, they would make a fair selections, like how they pick up vice chancellors or other professors? Please enlighten.
Okay. So the question is a valid one. Should the government choose? I don't think government should choose. But the Tamil people, some Tamil scholars, like we have Nagaswamy, Tamil, good, brilliant people. After all, if it's a great language, it's because you got brilliant people. It's not a great language because of some old things only, new things happening. So you get a committee, your committee of selection and steering committee, who will choose 3 candidates, give them to Harvard, they have to pick one of them. You should put that clause in there. And the money, instead of, you see, Harvard gives you 2%. I know all these details. If you put $5 million, They invest and get all the return as part of the whole Harvard endowment. If they're getting 15-20% return, they keep it. They take 2% of the corpus as the annual budget for that chair. So you will get $100,000, which is 2%. That will be the budget for the guy's salary, etc. Harvard, out of the 5 million, is making a lot more money than 2%. So the better thing is, you take the 5 million, put it in your own account, you get 10%, 20% money out of it, then you give them annual expenses, and they have to hire out of your choice of people. So some of it, I talk to all these people. Harvard is not interested in talking to a guy like me because I'll talk about these things. They said, we don't want you around. And they convinced the Tamil people that we are doing you a big favor. We are the Harvard after all. And the Tamil people are in awe of them. Wow, this is Harvard. We guys, nobody listens to us in India. Now we'll be on the globe stage, world stage. The Harvard dean will come, the president, he'll have a photo opportunity with us, and he'll speak one word of Tamil also. So this is an inferiority complex. And when you go to the West with inferiority complex, they will really take you for a ride.
I appreciate, definitely I think the intellectual society and the mechanism would definitely take all these points into account. But the need of the hour is definitely the language has to be taken globally, and of course with the people like you, your experiences would definitely be taken by them. But my role, I'll tell you, I'm not part of that organizing committee there. I'm only here. I felt that this is also a need from my perspective, who had seen such things in Frankfurt. I thought this would help. But these points are definitely, I can convey to the state authorities here also, because this will be well taken, because you've got a lot of experience in that. But simply shutting the door for, because this is the time now to mobilize and get the money and get the chair done. This is probably second or third such occasion for Tamil to happen. The problem here is when the position comes from some side, suddenly people will come to a conclusion that this whole thing is controversial. Let me not be part of this. But it has to happen. All that what you have said, and also as you rightly said, Berkeley also has given some good experiences in the past. So all our past experiences would guide us to a better future.
Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew has said, the minute the Sri Lanka problem came up, till 1990 in Singapore, any Indian who goes into Singapore to study, they only have to study Tamil, no other language. That's why, Inder Singh all used to speak very good Tamil. So I was surprised, but after 1990 and Sri Lankan war, he said, if we continue this one language formula for all India, with only Tamil, because they've been with us in the nation building and during independence, our women will go and work as maids, just like how Sri Lankan doctor women are coming and working as maids to us. So through language, Sri Lanka today is in tatters. It was not a war between Buddhists and Hindus. It was a war fought between two Christian factions. And language was the facade. So he said, he clearly in an open thing, he said, please don't bring Tamil anymore. Tuluva, Tulu padinga, Teluga, Telugu padinga. And our people know, second day, minute, everybody opened their own school and everybody is reading their mother tongue. So, Tamil has a position. Tamil is the most charming language. I have chosen in international platforms, I have only chosen to read and write and have my magazine in Tamil, no doubt. But they distort and they want to drag the Tamilians out of the national stream and make us without an identity and ultimately convert and decimate our culture.
It's not.
That is our problem.
Madam, it's not the outside. Let me clarify. It's only the inside, the center and the Delhi. That is only their continuous policies, not on any government. They are only, making things very, very complex. During the British time also we never faced it, but only when our own Indians started ruling, we had this problem because of they want to bring one language and one culture. That is where all the problems start.
No, one language, even in my.
See, I think we should be we should know the scope of this panel. We are not debating or disagreeing about the greatness of Tamil. So since we don't disagree on it, let's not waste time. We have very little time left. Also, we are not talking about the politics within India. We are only talking about Harvard Tamil chair. So the issue is, should there be a University of Madras Tamil chair? Should you take 10 universities in Tamil Nadu and why not have a Tamil chair in Delhi and why not have a Tamil chair in Bengal? Okay, why not? Okay, wait a second. For the same $5 million, you could probably get 5 or 6 chairs in India. So the question is not the greatness of Tamil, the question is not, it's more a center of a question of control. Who controls the money, who controls the ideology, the selection of people, the politics? Is it going to be outsourced? Because, in the British times, it was very common for a Raja to say, I am not getting justice, I'll go to the British to get justice against the other Raja. So that is how the British took over India. The British took over India because they exacerbated the clashes and the conflicts between one language, one region, one religion, whatever.
No, you are again drawing me into another argument, because if you ask me, in the British times there weren't very many problems, as far as the representation of people. The social justice was curtailed the moment India became free, independence. Then the Tamil Nadu under Periyar has to struggle to get the constitution amended in 1950 for the inclusive of the so-called oppressed and depressed classes. So
basically, we are not. See, wait a second. We are not expecting to. No, wait a second. We are not expecting to convert each other. We are not expecting to convert each other. He'll remain with his views, I'll remain with my views, but we are trying to convert, I'm trying to convert you guys to my point of view, and he's trying to convert you guys. So I'm going to point out that he is very typical in awe of the British, now in awe of the Americans. And previously it was the East India Company who was the Ma-Baap. East India Company brought us justice. What you are saying is that they were better than after independence. We would be better off, we would remain colonized according to you. And since we got freedom, it is bad, and now we should get colonized by the Americans. That's what your point is.
I don't want to put myself into any kind of boundary like Tamilian or anything. I wanted to be a human. I'm not never glorified my language because Tamil happened to be my mother tongue. That's all. But I don't want to glorify that language. I respect all the language. In fact, my book is getting translated and published tomorrow in Hindi. I got a lot of respect for that language. The problem comes only when you say what I am supposed to eat, what I am supposed to wear, what I am supposed to use a language, then is the question.
No, that's for unity. That is for unity of the huge country, like 120 crores of people. See, one thing I'll tell you, Ji, the University Harvard is a problem because it was started with a specific goal to establish the kingdom of Jesus.
No,
it is in the stall there.
That's not relevant today.
No, but that is why they are...
Harvard...
See, I'll tell you one thing.
Harvard was started by but you can't take history. History you can't use.
I'll take you one
today.
Thing. Why not we start a ancient Spain language in Madras University? What use it is? Who will do? Nobody will do. So why Harvard is doing this? What is the purpose? Divide and rule. Take out small portions. Create a problem in their mind. Oh, is Tamil and Saivam same? There is a big, huge government department taken out of the temple department and given to Tamils not being Saivam. They want to alienate Tamils and Sangam. Now they want to do Sangam literature because they want to alienate the Hindu aspect of Tamil literature. What they did in Coimbatore, not new to us. So when we know what this Harvard is going to do, we need to think about it. We need not be alarmed about it because Harvard, like Arvindo Ashram, Guruji said that day, what is this Naramurthy in Infosys? Nothing 500 crores. Let us do an open source library for the translation. So we are there. So many open translations will come. I only ask this in open stadium, I ask Infinity Foundation to support 100 PhDs in Tamil. That is enough. This Harvard can start 10 more. No problem. Because the people abroad, they want some platform, some chess, some Malay. So they go give money wherever. Let us start here in Tamil Nadu. Uliji will help us. He will tell Vafai Pandiyarajan to get some more crores for us. We need PhDs in our Hinduism, in our Tamil language, in our Sangam literature. We need to talk about Tamil, how to speak Tamil in Tamil Nadu today. Rave pochu. Harvard or Ra, nobody can pronounce in Tamil Nadu ji. Maybe they pronounce in Harvard, I don't know, David schools may be able to pronounce it, not us.
No, this is, I'm sorry.
I also disagree with her.
No, I'm sorry.
Totally
but I'll
disagree.
tell you as
I
a
don't
publisher
agree with her.
and I was an association, the last 5-6 years is phenomenal. The number of books that are published in Tamil has gone up by 3 to 4 times. Similarly, number of publishers. In fact, the Chennai Book Fair is due in another 2 weeks. The problem for the organizers is how to allot stall for the new publishers. Not that here, today I would see the literature has gone deep rooted into the rural side also. The different literatures, different geographical side they are coming out with.
So let's get back to Harvard. Yes. So let's not, you keep deviating and then we got to bring it back. Harvard, you cannot criticize for what they were started 400 years ago because it's not the same university. It's been revolutionized, changed, modified many, many times. All the universities in America were originally founded by the Christians, but they partitioned, they turned the religious part into a seminary, like there is a Princeton seminary, which is separate from Princeton University for the last 100-some years. So you cannot give arguments that are not valid and fallacious or obsolete. So Harvard is, what Harvard started with slaves also, but much of the American multinationals started with slave labor also, but those are not arguments that hold any merit today. So you have to look at I support him that Tamil is a beautiful language, we shouldn't debate. I support him that it should be internationalized, we should spread it everywhere. No, sir, I don't have a problem with that.
I will correct it here. When I spoke, I didn't speak only for Tamil. I said it should be for all the Indian languages, including Malayalam, Kannadam, Telugu. Such chairs should be established in different countries by the government of India.
Fine. So I didn't say only Tamil. Sorry, I didn't misspeak. Yeah, I said your position is Tamil is a beautiful language. I didn't say only Tamil, and it should be spread all over the world. I agree with that, so we don't have to argue with it. But the method of spreading, I would like that you study the Korea Foundation, the China Institute, and the Japan Foundation model, where they control the development of the doctrine, the ideas, the discourse, all of that they control, and then they give chairs to teach their curriculum, and they don't leave it to them to bring 15 students and study us and figure out who we are. That is what the British were doing. They were coming to India, studying us, figuring out and teaching their people how to manage us, how to divide us, and so on. So the fact that from Germany they're bringing 15 students a year to study Tamil and go back is not a favor to us. I mean, if you are being investigated by the CBI, you can't say I'm really doing well because look, they think I'm so important. I am so important, they come and investigate me every year. The reason they're investigating you is not because they're necessarily in love with you, they want to figure you out. And so if they are going to figure you out, they're going to control the discourse about you. And since you are in awe of the British, that they were doing more justice than independent India, and now I assume you're in awe of the Americans, that we better bring them back to colonize us, I think it's a dangerous situation. You're going to be losing control.
No, let me again, see, it's not that situation. See, the problem here is, even the Tamils who went and settled elsewhere, like not only Tamils, even Telugus for that matter, after one generation, they simply forget their languages. Such kind of initiatives by the universities there in their respective countries probably would motivate them to send their children also to look at their own mother tongue. It's not just Tamil, even Telugu also. Now, with the kind of movement now started there, Harvard, other things are also happening in US, where the Tamils now parallelly starting private coaching centers for Tamil students to do that. Now the Telugus are also doing that. Indirectly, such kind of international initiatives helps us to ground and strengthen our roots.
I'll just remind you, the Khalistan movement, which later got controlled by overseas people, England, Canada, USA, was it started with well-meaning Sikhs who were there for some generations. They were nostalgic. Rather than coming back and helping their motherland here, they wanted to create this Sikh identity because their young sons were shaving off their hair. So they started this Sikhism kind of a thing in those countries, but they lost control over it and it took a life of its own. And I also want to remind you that the idea of Pakistan was started in England. It was started by students in a university long back in the early 1900s, not started in the geography now called Pakistan. So sometimes you start something and you lose control over it in the long run. So the question is, if the Tamil people are smart, intelligent, so proud, why can't they self-organize something here in Tamil Nadu and teach Harvard people about Tamil, rather than asking Tamil people to teach about Tamil to us?
Can also happen.
Yes.
Who knows? Yes.
Yeah.
1 minute. Yeah. See, the real problem in this Harvard University sort of seats is that they do not aim at scholars. They do not aim it at high elite. They look at the mass, the C and the D audience, and say something like simple, Muruga Kadavul, Tamil Muruga Kadavulunga, Shivan Kadayadu. So, they don't know anything. They neither know Sanskrit, they neither know the Hinduism is being cut off, it's just for rituals today. So, we are in a very, very serious situation where this academia as a battleground play havoc with the C and D audience who are the voting mass. So, that's how they create identities. These people, as you rightly said, they are the ones who create these pockets and give money. You can take Kudangulam, you can take Greenpeace, yesterday Adani, all these are from this academia. Academia sets the standards there. Otherwise, why would any huge university set up like this and distort literature? It's for distortion they use this seat.
So let's, I think he's right, let's read out some questions, then I'll read out the 3 questions we have. How many chairs have been created in other states in India? How come Tamil Nadu does not allow Hindi chairs? That's an interesting question. Second one is Stony Brook University in USA has announced a Tamil chair. Question is, why so many Tamil chairs needed all of a sudden? That's the second question.
I can just read out,
You read out quickly.
out
Why don't you read out quickly?
Yeah.
Just read out quickly.
Chair for Indology, understandable. Chair for Tamil language, we need to ask them. What is happening with local Tamil? The youngsters can't say la, ra, la differently. Local enrichment is very important. We can only have a good chair in a foreign university when we speak the language and not lose the language here. In 50 years, Tamilians will lose the language because of English language. Then even the interpretation of Tamil will be controlled by the Harvard chair. Is this okay?
So you need to read out
The recent report by UGC on Tamil University in Tanjavur says the following. The committee also observes that adequate infrastructural facilities, particularly in terms of space, lab and faculty portions, are not available. 2008, page 3. Why such sorry state of affairs in home while funding chairs in Harvard? Dr. V. Ramanathan.
See, I would try to answer a couple of things. So one is regarding the chair in Hindi. In Tamil Nadu, there is plenty of opportunities for people to learn Hindi. Even if you go to Hindi Prachara Sabha, has been there. Even when thick and thin of anti-Hindi agitation was there, very many schools give options for people to teach or take up Hindi as their language. Third, many universities have this Hindi department. Coming back to this, to Tanjavur, I remember in one of the TV talk show also somebody asked, yes, it's not only Tanjavur Tamil University, many university in Tamil Nadu is in such a very bad plight state, starting from the Vice Chancellor's appointment, everything. So that need to be corrected at any cost, that has to be a movement. Hopefully we expect all that can happen so that the education is de-linked from the politicians. But that doesn't prevent me from doing something outside India to take one of the Indian languages. I say not only Tamil, it should happen for all the languages. They should get a place accorded in different universities in the world. Yes, I agree with you that, those days are gone. Today we can have absolute control over them, where we can have, these points are valid. Definitely, when they sign up agreements with the universities, they should take into account that they have a say.
That's what is different. If
Yes.
Tamil Nadu government is funding the Harvard Tamil chair, will the government have the veto power to call off if required?
Yeah, that is the problem. See, here again, we don't have a trust on the government itself. If the Tamil Nadu government gets in, what would happen for all other things that we have in the Tamil Nadu? They you know, the politicians, how they influence and manipulate such things. Let it at least be here in Tamil Nadu. Let it not go to Harvard University for the time being.
There is a classic Tamil here, classical Tamil in Chennai. But that is in tatters.
That's because Tamil, I think somebody jocularly saying the Tamil language that we speak in Chennai, right? Yeah, of course, you know, Chennai, Madras is a cosmopolitan city. You have people from all kinds of languages here, use their language, that probably got used to.
No, what they say is there is a government administered central
You are
initiative
talking
of
about
classical
Central Institute
Tamil.
of, yes, Central Institute of Classical
Central
Tamil.
Institute of Classical Tamil in
Yes,
Chennai,
yes.
it's in complete tatters.
Yeah, I'm
Tamil
sorry,
Nadu government
I-
has no interest in cultivating this organization but chooses to fund Harvard chair.
Wait. Yeah. See, I will tell you here, it is nothing but a DMK, ADMK politics. I don't want to go because it was the initiation of the DMK, the earlier term between 2006 and 11. They got this status for the classical Tamil, subsequently starting this. But unfortunately in Tamil Nadu, in all other states, I'm not competent to say, here, if something is initiated by the previous government, they would ensure that the next government would ensure that it's died. That is what exactly has happened. Hopefully we'll see some...
A question I ask is, this Tamil chair, to champion the great language and culture of Tamil internationally, has it been publicly debated in Tamil Nadu by Tamil people where you bring all of them and debate and argue, or is Infinity Foundation...
Yes.
No, wait a second. Is Infinity Foundation the first organization wanting to debate the topic? Because if it's democracy, everybody should be part of it.
Yes.
No, wait a second. It can't be that 5 guys went and signed an MOU. By the way, the MOU has been signed. Harvard announced that an MOU has been signed, money has been given, and more money is needed. They are almost finished. They're talking about this, made a press release that on this occasion they had a fundraiser, raised 1 million more, like that. So it is too late for you to go and say we are yet to do a proper contract. The MOUs and all are done. Now, who debated it for the Tamil people to be participating?
So, MOU, I understand that MOU has been done only for setting up of the chair and giving a deadline June 2018.
And the terms of the chair.
Yeah.
The terms of the chair. The terms of the chair are, the chair will be run in accordance with Harvard academic policies and principles. Now you have to read that big book of policies and principles. It says all academic appointments are done by Harvard people. And they will put an ad for, and they will have a search committee and they will select these people. That's a standard academic procedure. If you want to override that standard academic procedure like Pakistan did, like China does, you have to be very smart, upfront, demand it. And you can, once you show that you need them more than they need you, they are doing you a favor, they are the ma-baap, they'll save you, and you are in awe of them. Once they get that, then they'll take you for a ride. It's too late, I think, to go and change this because your deal will be gone. But what you should do is first draft the terms of chair. An outline. These are the terms under which we want to set up a chair, and we are asking for proposals from the American universities. Let them compete with each other. Let Harvard, Berkeley, Columbia, all these guys submit proposals to you because they all want money from NRIs. They want money from NRIs. And so you should be in control of the terms, and you issue out it like a tender, let them do it. Then you are controlling, how you run it, who will control the money, who will control the appointments and the curriculum. To just go to them and sign up, and you bypass the whole democratic process of common people in Tamil Nadu. A few elite people have done this. That's not even good democracy.
See, after all, the government is democratically elected people. For every day, government cannot go and take public opinion and do all that. So, if let's see all that. Definitely, I will talk to them, and also, these views are very, very important. As I told you, I am not part of that organizing committee, but I am only here. all your points are
Let's
very...
read some more questions. Yeah.
Just a remark from Srijit Dattaji. Since Rajiv ji has raised the question, why not a Tamil department chair in Delhi, Bengal? One glaring example sits right there in a central university in West Bengal. In Vishwa Bharati Shanti Niketan, there is a Tamil department for quite a few years in the most neglected state. A single professor, and they failed to procure a single student for several of their courses for years on. Why not take care of that infrastructure is already there?
Yes, we should definitely request the UGC to look into all that, because we don't have any control over it. The government of India and the University Grant Commission should look into all these things.
There's one research going on right now in Harvard to divide further by saying Mundas are the natives of India. Yes. And both Aryans and Dravidians are outsiders. Right. It was they who first started this Aryan Dravidians as an academic. So when Harvard already part of such a dividing research, how it can be right to open a chair in Harvard?
Let such debates come, madam. People will not going to... today, if I say that so-and-so is a first citizen of this, it's not going to be accepted. Let such discussions come.
The problem is, they don't talk to us. They talk to small group of paid individuals like Seaman and Thirumavalavan, and they kick up a small crowd. That is how it starts.
No.
Which fishermen go to Ilanga and Kanja Kartaranga?
No.
Which person from here goes?
I think we are going out
specific.
of the...
These are the people who are funded. It became Kudangulam. It became today Adani pulled out of because of Greenpeace. The golden... See, I can tell you examples across the world where what Greenpeace does, except in America. America, they are not there. So, these research, all these academic pursuits have another goal. That's what we are trying to say.
Anyway, I don't want to get into further debate on when you mentioned about Thirumavalavan. So let's not get into the debate.
He's a very good friend.
So, if you read the book Breaking India, we talked about this whole, the Munda, Dravidian, Aryan, now they brought it down to 3 levels. Now, in fact, as I've written there, the Harvard position is that Dravidians also are foreigners, not only the Aryans. Yeah. The Mundas are the only people who are indigenous to India. The Dravidians came from somewhere, the Aryans came from somewhere else and whatnot. So maybe they'll decide that even perhaps Mundas are also not original, whatever. So the issue is, do you want to give control of this kind of discourse which manipulates the identity of Indians? India, there is also a movement called Afro-Dalit. You know about this movement called Afro-Dalit, that the Africans came here and they became the blacks of India, and the dark-skinned people are actually Africans, and the others are, white Europeans, and this kind of a racist divisiveness is very dangerous for India, and I would not go and turn over things to their control to decide, send scholars to research us and publish. I would want the Journal of Tamil Studies to be based here and have all Indian people on the editorial board. I would want an international conference on Tamil studies to have an annual conference here. In fact, if you start organizing an international conference on Tamil studies in Tamil Nadu, our foundation will come and give you 50% of the money. We will give you. But keep it here. Make it a Swadeshi Tamil studies. And Tamil deserves a Swadeshi base right here. Why outsource it to anybody else?
We are looking at social justice. We are talking about representation of all the people. If all these things could be inclusive of in that Swadeshi, it's most welcome, because so, you sideline Thirumavalavan separately. Yeah. And nobody looks at the caste, nobody looks at whether he comes from this or not.
No. Let me tell you the amount of racism in United States. Okay, if before Harvard can solve, you are thinking that this inclusiveness and all, they've sold you that they are more superior and they're going to come and make you more inclusive. What you should tell them is first make American society more inclusive, because that's the problem.
See, that is not our problem. My problem is my people. My problem is our country. So we are.
No. But you are taking your problem. You're taking your problem.
We want our language and literature to be showcased to the different parts of the world. That is an honest and humble attempt. We are not looking at other things.
Okay, so we have 5 minutes left, and Nagaswamiji, give the final word. Let us give him the final word.
Friends, I have been associated with this almost from 1963 or even earlier, and we have been establishing several units, several Tamil associations, Tamil universities and so on, and we have been expecting good research output, and I am very glad that they are starting it, and we congratulate and we wish all every good thing about this Tamil section in Harvard University. We all look forward to it. I will tell you a small incident in my own this thing. I went to Delhi, and in the Delhi University, I was asked to speak about Silapadikaram and Tulkapiyam. And I thought there will be, they told me there will be 4 or 5 people attending, and don't worry, you start giving your talk. But when I went there, I saw about 60 to 70 students, most of them from other parts of India, not from Tamil Nadu. And when I completed that talk, they said, sir, we didn't know there is so much in Tamil. Nobody has told us. We have a Tamil section here. They haven't told us that there is so much. And, from Punjab, from Gujarat, from Bengal, we need to carry this, the content. And I don't think that we are discussing at the basic level of teaching Tamil to people at the Harvard. We are discussing about at the highest standard of research. And those who are going to come and study are not the Tamils alone, Japanese, Germans and Americans and Indians. So we can't be start teaching basic and then expect highest. So you please leave the teaching of basic Tamil to other institutions and take the highest content first. What is there in Tamil? Tamil is not only in literature, Sangam literature or other literature. Tamil, we have nowhere in the world more than 35,000 written documents from 3rd century BC to modern times. Inscriptions, all in Sanskrit and Tamil, and most of them are 90% in Tamil. We don't have people to read, analyze. It gives you the life of the people, administration, taxation, irrigation, music, dawn, everything about temple, written document, chronologically they are available. We don't have people to read. And this we have to tell the world that we have so much here. Similarly, in the field of music, in the field of dance, in the field of medieval literature, unless we are able to think in terms of taking it to the highest level, give the people who are going to organize it, treat it, give them academic freedom. There may be one subject here, one subject there, one subject there. But let the content be first carried and let it be at the highest level. And we don't accept that only those who come from Harvard will be the highest. Most of the greatest work in Tamil research are done by individual scholars. So please think, remove all that we are going to take Tamil. What is the content? It's a very rich content. And it has to reach the world of all the people. Don't say that what I think Tamil is that correct Tamil. That is where the mistake comes in. So content, objectively, must be taught and think about it.
So with that, my job as chairman of this session is to finish it on time, and I'm happy to tell you we are exactly on time. I want to thank both my fellow panelists for brilliant remarks. We agreed a lot more than we disagreed. We disagreed a lot more than we agreed, but I thank you, and you are you've got good ideas, and I'm inviting him on my online show as a guest, and we are going to continue this debate on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you, everybody.